Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Here we are. It's been rainy here in Maryland. It's raining again today. Let's take a look outside. Look at this. Well, I guess you can't see the rain. I guess you can't see the rain, but it's really, really rainy out there. Out there in the good old backyard of Final Cut TV. So we got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna do actually a Logic Pro 11 demonstration live today because it's pretty amazing. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. That's always a good sign to start the day with thumbs up. We got a heart. We got a thumbs up from our friend Spot Lewis from Philadelphia. Good morning. Good morning from Michigan. And then thank you very much for the thumbs up. Already got 3 thumbs up. Yeah, just started the process. Let me just put our Final Cut TV logo up there in the corner. Thank you very much. 5 thumbs up. Sean Beckner says, good morning from Michigan. Then he says he's hoping for it. So he's hoping for this. Does anyone feel hopeful that we will get a bigger than expected upgrade to Final Cut Pro 11 in the autumn than previously thought based on the extent of the Logic Pro 11 update? You know, well, thank you very much for the thumbs up. Very fantastic. You're the best. So, yeah, the Logic Pro 11 update, the laundry list of things are just incredible. I'm expecting, I think I'm the only one that said it so far, I'm expecting Final Cut Pro 11 in the fall at the Creative Summit. Marcus Moore, hello from Brooklyn. Richard, how are we doing? Tim Musto says, happy St. Helen's Eruption Day from the Pacific Northwest. Good afternoon from Athens, Greece. So I was going to put in my time signature, I put Eastern, U.S. Pacific, which is 3 hours difference. And then I put, thank you very much for the thumbs up, I put GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, because everybody can go from there typically. And then I was going to put Europe time, but Europe time is not a single time. UK time is different. German time is different. Spain time is, they're all different. So I got to stick to GMT. Now, every once in a while, GMT and the UK time coincide. They're exactly the same. So when that happens, I'll put up UK, GMT, and UK. So have we learned anything? Good morning and good coffee from Toronto, Canada. Big Bot Studios. Thank you very much. Have we learned anything from the announcements from the iPad event? I've learned quite a bit, and I never realized, I wasn't thinking about it before. There's a lot of limitations, and I keep seeing these articles about the iPad Pro, which is what I'm considering getting. I'm still considering it. And the limitations almost exclusively come from iPad OS. All the reviews say that the hardware is more advanced and iPad OS is holding it back. Now, I'm not a big fan of iPad OS, never have been. I always thought that it's behind what Mac OS offers. Sometimes it's just clunky and stuff. So I kept reading these articles that said hardware is more advanced than iPad OS, and that's what I thought all along. So that's not unusual. Hello from the Netherlands. Our friend Simon Villani says, I got a question here in Italian. People saying right now that who's continuing to use Final Cut Pro as a pro is a loser because Final Cut Pro too old against DaVinci and Premiere Pro. The best greetings from India. Is that anything unusual, Simon? First off, it doesn't bother me that people say that. I can say that about Premiere. I can say that about Premiere. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Resolve is a harder argument because Resolve, their pace of development is through the roof. I think we've learned that Final Cut Junior is okay, but there's no way it'll ever be as good as Final Cut Pro for the Mac. Now, here's the distinction. Yes, Final Cut Junior, Final Cut for iPad is not as powerful as Final Cut for the Mac. It's missing almost 50 features to the latest count that I have, that Final Cut for the Mac has, and I'm sure I haven't covered them all. Part of that is due to iPad OS. I mean, iPad OS is a lot of restrictions that restrict what Final Cut. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Look at that. You people are just fantastic. Thank you very much. You already got 9 thumbs up. 10 thumbs up. Fantastic. Let me just see up here again, because I had problems. Let's just see. Yeah, it's the same issue. I don't see any listeners, viewers listed in Ecamm Live on Facebook, but I know that they're there. When I finish these live streams, there's always hundreds of views listed on Facebook. Yeah, it says 6 are on my screen. It says 6 are watching right now on Facebook. But in Ecamm Live, it says none. It doesn't have any listing. So Facebook and Ecamm Live are not communicating with the live viewer count. I don't know why. I have no idea. But I'm showing 6 on Facebook, and I'm not showing any on Ecamm Live. Facebook, I'm not showing any. That's very, very strange. But that's just the way it is. I don't care. I know we got viewers on Facebook every time we have them. Absolutely. Make sure I don't click the wrong button, because there's some buttons I don't want to click when we're going live. Tony Oddjob says Avid is like a relic and people are still using that. So why can't Final Cut Pro be used by pros? Well, we know that it can. There's half a dozen or a dozen Hollywood films that have been cut on Final Cut Pro 10. We know it can be used by the professionals. We absolutely know that. Avid is like a tank. It's well established. Mostly what the reason people think to Avid is because of hardware. It's not because of the Avid editor per se. They're used to it. Unions like editing video to be difficult. They don't want it to be easy, because then they can't say they're professional. I was considering upgrading my 2018 MacBook Pro due to the weight reduction and deterioration battery life when I realized the 2018 weighs less than a 2022 iPad. That I didn't know. I'm interested in picking up the new iPad Pro, but not to use Final Cut Junior, but for other stuff. I, too, am very considering getting the iPad Pro, the 13-inch, 1 terabyte, because the 1 terabyte has one more CPU core and it has twice the RAM usage. One of the limitations of the iPad Pro is it only can do 16 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, the MacBook Pro I'm on is 64 gigabytes, and it can go up to 128, I think, at this point. So that's one of the limitations of the iPad Pro, but that doesn't make any difference. I'm the same way, Tony. I'm more interested in other things, like I'm going to be using LumaFusion. I'm not going to. Why in the world I would use Final Cut on the iPad when I have Final Cut on the MacBook Pro? It makes 0 sense unless it's just for portability. But I wouldn't keep that. Here's the thing: if I wanted to use it on the MacBook, on the iPad Pro, I would. But I would not keep the subscription going month after month after month after month. I'd turn it on for 1 month, use it, and then I'd turn it off, because I have a superior version of Final Cut Pro, a more powerful version of Final Cut Pro on my MacBook Pro. I don't want to go backwards. Now, Having said that, if all you have is an iPad, Final Cut Pro is fantastic. If that's your only option. But if you have an option of a Mac versus the iPad, I don't understand why you would choose the iPad version when the Mac version has more things. Thank you very much for watching. You're adding to our view count. It's appreciated. We got our thumbs up already. 11 thumbs up. Fantastic. 12 thumbs up. Fantastic. Thank you for adding to our view count. We've got our thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Fantastic. Thank you for adding to our view count. We love having thumbs up. The more, the better. You're doing a great job adding to our view count. Here's another one. 13 thumbs up. Fantastic. Good morning from New North Carolina. Rainy weekend. Of course it is. Of course it is. East Coast, I think, is a lot of rain. We got 13 thumbs up already. Thank you. We have 37 people watching live right now. I will not make any purchasing decisions pre-iPad OS 18 as it would need to utilize the power way more efficiently than the current version. So is there that big of a difference between iPad OS 17 and 18? Maybe people that are in the beta program might know that. That would be interesting. The only thing any form of Hollywood uses Final Cut Pro is for cutting. No audio, no color grading, etc. Yeah, but that's the same as Avid. That's the same as Avid. All the Avid films are sent out to Pro Tools. All the Avid the films are sent out to DaVinci Resolve. So that's not any different, right? From Final Cut to Avid. Everybody in Hollywood almost exclusively sends their mix to Pro Tools. And they usually don't color in their NLE, unless you're DaVinci Resolve. They go out to DaVinci or another more sophisticated coloring. So that's exactly the same. So accurate, do you think that in 2024, Final Cut Pro be competitive against the new paradigm? The new paradigm is really the old paradigm, right? The new paradigm is really the old paradigm. So it's been the same since Final Cut Pro 10 came out, hasn't it been? People say, oh, it's not Hollywood, can't do Hollywood films. Yes, it can. We've already seen it do half a dozen to a dozen Hollywood films. We know it can be done. Whether you want to use Avid, you're old school, you want to stay in Avid, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But you can also use Final Cut Pro for Hollywood films because it's been done. Hollywood is not going to be the benchmark people think it is anymore. The best films are not being made by Hollywood. Final Cut Pro and DaVinci are the resources more filmmakers are wanting to use. My recommendations, thank you very much for the thumbs up. My recommendations are, if I was talking to somebody young and they're in college or they're in their early 20s and they're getting started in film editing, number one, I would say, have a backup career. That's my first bit of advice. Get another skill set outside of the film and editing industry that you could use when things get tough, okay? In my case, it would be, I'm a 30-year carpenter. I have tons of experience in carpentry, okay? So if I didn't want to do commercial high-end carpentry, if I didn't want to do editing or there weren't any editing jobs, I can fall back on something else. That's my first bit of advice. Have a backup career of some sort. Number two, I would say, look where the industry is that you want to get involved in. You want to be a YouTube influencer? You can virtually use anything, but a lot of people use Final Cut Pro in YouTube. You want to go to Hollywood? Well, in the past, Avid's been the king in Hollywood. But what about the future? The future, we don't know. DaVinci Resolve, Premiere is in there. Final Cut's in there, somewhat. They're in there. So you have to look for the future. If you look to the past, you might miss the turn. The weight reduction of the M4 13 inches, about 100 grams compared to the M2 version. Not only 50 grams compared to my 2018 review. Reviewers are comparing the M4 to the M2 when talking weight. I'm cutting 2 documentaries soon, and both will be edited in Final Cut Pro, and I will use DaVinci for parts of it as well. I would say that's a very common occurrence. You use one NLE for editing your film, whether that's Final Cut, Avid, DaVinci, Premiere. But you almost, if you're in Hollywood, you're going to send the mix out to Pro Tools house. You're not going to color, unless you're in DaVinci, you're not going to color natively in your NLE. That's going to go out to a colorist, professional colorist, and they're probably going to be using DaVinci most likely. Good point. Darius News. Almost any Hollywood movie or TV program can be edited using iMovie. There's a lot of brand name elitism. That's very, very true. Most Hollywood films are cuts. Cut, 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 cut. Cut, cut, cut. You can certainly do that in iMovie, and then send your mix out to a Pro Tools house, and then send it out for coloring or whatever you need to do. Jeremy Johnson says, I would sooner use a machete to cut film rather than Avid. I understand. The sentiments. Looking for 10.8, I think that 10.8 can compete with Premiere. 10.8 has some interesting features. It absolutely does. I don't think we know all of them. I think we just know bullet points. I will be creating with Final Cut. That's the tool for me. I still love it. Absolutely. That's my main NLE at this point as well. I don't see it, the difference. I don't see me changing that. The biggest deal with the new iPad is the new screen and what it means for future Mac devices. It also means more accurate HDR color grading because the screen is that much better. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I got 14 thumbs up. Very, very cool. Final Cut Pro 10 paired with the right plugins is extremely powerful. I use Motion VFX. Does anyone else have some favorite plugins? So I have 2,000 plugins, individual titles and stuff. I have a lot of titles, subtitles. I like good quality transitions, not the goofy ones with swirls and things, but good quality transitions. Same with the titles. I wish there was a way to organize those in Final Cut Pro. I Yeah, I can do it in the Finder. And there's a couple of ways, workarounds, but hopefully in the future version, maybe version 11 of Final Cut, we're going to get the ability to work with our plugins natively in the browser. The plugins, the titles browser, the generators browser, the effects browser, and the transitions browser, natively in Final Cut. Just drag and drop, form favorites, maybe even turn ones off that you don't use. So we're going to talk about this 10.8 versus 11. I'm sure that 10.8 will be a great update and open the road for more advances. When we finally get 11, I'm hoping they'll be getting anything that we are currently missing. So yeah, I think 11, here's the thing. Since Logic Pro 10.8.1, which just came out 6 months ago, jumped to Logic 11. 10.8.1, thank you very much for the thumbs up. 10.8.1 is only 6 months old, the shortest time of any full number update, and it jumped to 11. That can be showing us exactly the path that Final Cut Pro, thank you very much for the thumbs up, Final Cut Pro 10.8 will take. This is for you, all the listeners. My prediction, there's two things about Logic Pro 11. Number one, it has a lot of great features, a laundry list of features. Did I even pull that up here? I don't know if I pulled it up here. a laundry list. I think I have it. Let me see if I have it here. Incredible, incredible amount of features. Well, bug fixes, performance enhancement, and features. Yeah, let me see if that's here. Yeah, let me just play that real quick, just so you can see the amount of features that Logic Pro has. Where's my movies? Hold on one second. This is the Logic Pro update, 11 update notes. There's no audio. Now it's playing fast because you're not supposed to read it. It's just take it in for all of the updates that it has. So that is the Logic. I let it play fast. You're not supposed to read it, just trying to get the depth of the updates from Logic Pro. The Logic Pro updates. Exactly. It's the same. It's to show you the depth of the Logic Pro updates, to show you the depth. So let me just go. We got 47 people watching. It's fantastic. 17 thumbs up. Thank you for adding to our view count. It is appreciated. Let me get back to these. Some of these comments, thank you very much for the thumbs up. Got another one. 18 thumbs up already. Fantastic. The people working use Logic as a front end to Pro Tools. When I worked in the computer industry, I was told by people working with Pro Tools that they use Logic as a front end. Some people do that. Yes, some people do that. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you for adding to the viewer count. It is appreciated. And we are going to... So here's the deal with Logic Pro. It jumped from 10.8 to 11. It was only 6 months old. It was only 6 months old. And it jumped from 10.8 to 11. I predict, well, Final Cut Pro has been announced at 10.8. 6 months from now, I predict we're going to see Final Cut Pro 11. I predict the exact same thing is going to happen. Not only did it jump from 8 to 11, it's free for existing users, and there's no subscription. And there's no subscription. That's the interesting part. Free, no subscription. Final Cut Pro has to do exactly the same thing. I mean, it doesn't have to, but my prediction is it's going to do exactly the same thing. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. We're doing great in the thumbs up department as usual. We're doing great on viewer count. 50 people watching live right now. Fantastic, fantastic. So, fingers crossed we get 10.8 by this Tuesday. The most likely days are Tuesday and Thursday. Thursday is almost twice as popular for Final Cut Pro updates as Tuesday. So Tuesday or Thursday, we'll probably get, well, who the heck knows, sometime in the next couple of weeks. We'll be getting Final Cut Pro 10.8. Now, what we've seen of 10.8 so far is not all there is to 10.8. I guarantee you that. There's more to it. My guess is that Final Cut Pro is coming late this year with spatial editing tools. Absolutely, because Apple's already talked about Final Cut Pro is going to get spatial editing tools in 2024. They once again pre-announced. People say Apple never gives us a roadmap. They give us hints, and they do give us announcements that things are coming. Apple has already announced, thank you very much for the thumbs up, has already announced that we are getting spatial editing in Final Cut Pro. What does that mean? No idea. I don't have the Vision Pros. Final Cut Pro 11 is coming. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you for adding for the viewer count. Fantastic. Fantastic. When will Final Cut macOS jump to version 11? You mean Final Cut Pro jump to version 11? Is that what you're talking about? Final Cut Pro? macOS is already at 15, so you mean Final Cut Pro, I'm sure. I'm just hoping for text-based editing. Really want that in Final Cut Pro. Yes, hopefully that'll be in 11. Hopefully that'll be in 11. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it would be nice if Final Cut Pro just managed to get on par with DaVinci so that I don't have to keep jumping back and forth. Final Cut Pro is a slower train than DaVinci Resolve. I think we all know that. I don't see that changing. Final Cut Pro team, and they've pretty much said this at their Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Thank you for the thumbs up. Fantastic. We've already said this. We got almost 20 thumbs up at this point. They understand, they see their comments about people saying it's not updating as fast as just to say DaVinci. They hear it, but they're going to do things at their own pace. That's all. I'm using Logic to create soundtracks, and it's a beast. I got a demonstration of Logic. I have a demonstration of Logic loaded up. We have over 50 people watching live. We got almost 20 thumbs up. Fantastic. Thank you for adding to the viewer count, people that are watching. I'm sure the Pro Apps team will not be able to get everything out even in Final Cut Pro 11. Somehow they just can't compete with DaVinci. Yeah, they're probably not going to. They're just going to do the things at the Final Cut Pro pace, which is not the DaVinci pace. Use both. Use both. I tried the new iPad at the Apple Store and the keyboard in Final Cut Pro not updated. Tried several keyboard shortcuts. They're all the same. Apple did a great job. Updates, improvements might sway me. So Jeremy Johnson, I think $1 trillion company like Apple, $2 trillion, $3 trillion, should be able to move heaven and earth to best of all NLEs if they really wanted to. Well, Final Cut Pro doesn't have, they're going to do things at their own pace. They're going to do things at their own pace. Wix Studio said 5-second ad. Fantastic. I'm just doing some screen grabs here for reference for future. That's all. I guess you're saying that Apple doesn't care. No, I'm not saying Apple doesn't care. Final Cut Pro is certainly a priority within the Final Cut Pro team, but as far as overall, it's not the priority for Apple. Final Cut Pro is not the priority for Apple. So we don't really care. I mean, it's not ever going to be the top priority for Apple, Final Cut Pro. I doubt that. It certainly is important for Apple. It certainly is important. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's fantastic. Thank you for adding to the view count by watching this video. Thank you very much, each and every one of you. So I'm not saying that Apple doesn't care. I'm saying every company's got priorities. What's Apple's? iPhones? Macs, selling iPhones. Well, Apple, Final Cut Pro certainly does that as well. It does that as well. Not a problem. Wouldn't 6 months from now also be close to be announced Creative Summit event to announce Final Cut Pro 11? That's what I'm saying. Final Cut Pro 11 at the Creative Summit. Jeremy Johnson says, I wonder if it's a problem of management. I don't think it's a problem of management. I don't think it's a problem of management. I think it's just the way different things are important to Final Cut Pro. So, I mean, to Apple. Final Cut Pro is mixed in there somewhere, but it's not the most important. So we have fantastic. We have 61 people watching live right now. Thank you for adding to the viewer count. Let's give accolades to all of you. You're the best Final Cut Pro audience in the nation. We got 20 thumbs up. Fantastic. So maybe the higher-ups aren't giving the Pro Apps team the support they need. Well, once again, it's in a Final Cut Pro team is a strata. It's one of many things that Apple has to consider. iPhones, of course, are most important, and other selling Macintoshes are important. Final Cut Pro is important, but it's not, it's not way at the top. Fantastic. 20 thumbs up, 62 people watching live. Thank you for watching. You're adding to my viewer count. Each one of you are adding to my viewer count. Thank you very much. I would love to see some more integration with Logic and Final Cut Pro 10, or at least port over some of the capabilities of Logic into Final Cut Pro for audio editing. Thank you very much for the thumbs up, for adding to my viewer count. You're doing a great job. Fantastic. I'm sure whatever features you push on, Pro Apps will listen to. Thank you, Richard. You're appreciated. When was the Logic Pro update before the last update? 10.8.1, which was only 6 months old. Just checking on a few things. I tried using a PC DaVinci Resolve and it ran up my electricity bill. Apple and Final Cut Pro is the best. Yeah, that's what we all like. Final Cut Pro. We all like Final Cut Pro. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here, talking about Final Cut Pro. Audio mixer would indeed be great. Audio mixer would indeed be great. Fantastic. Out there in the Final Cut Pro community, there's some curmudgeon-y people out there. I'm sure you've all ran into them over the years. Just people that are very small-minded. Very small-minded. Every once in a while you see them. I see them every once in a while myself. Thank you for adding to the viewer count. You're watching, you're logging in. We got 60 people watching live right now. No matter which way you slice it, Apple always seems to have new tricks up their sleeves. It's all a matter of timing. So major new Final Cut Pro features are probably depending on other departments' projects. There is a team. There is a Final Cut Pro team, okay? And they do interact with each other. You have the iPad person, you have the motion person, compressor, you have the main Final Cut Pro, and they all interact with each other. I want to show you a demo of Logic Pro. I have it running on my machine here. I think I can do the live. Yeah, I know I can do the live demo. And I want to see that. I do use a lot of audio tracks in Final Cut, so a true audio mixer would be great. I love to do it all in Final Cut, absolutely. I think Final Cut features are dependent on the features to be announced at WWDC, also dependent on new hardware implement those features announced at WWDC. Absolutely. Absolutely, that's very true. Apple seems to have no idea what it's like to work in a TV newsroom. Insane pace, live on-air pressure cooker, constant deadlines. If they did understand, text-based editing will be a top priority. I don't think a newsroom, a high-pressure newsroom, is Final Cut Pro's priority. I don't think that is. I think that's one of the places it likes to be used, but I don't think a high-pressure newsroom is really... Darius, what do you use? Do you use Avid? Do you use Premiere? Do you use Resolve in these high-pressure newsrooms? I don't know, since I don't work in those. But Apple's priorities is not, they have their own set of priorities, and that's what they're going to be working on, their own set of priorities. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. On my Mac Mini, Logic 11 works great. It works good on mine too. Thank you very much. We got 66 people watching live right now. Did I post that over there? I'm very curious when Final Cut Pro 10.8 will be released, refreshing the App Store every day. I'd say spend your time refreshing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's what I would say. That's what I would recommend. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let me see something here. Did I post that over there or not? Oh, here we go. Let me post that. We are live. Now, are we live over there on Final Cut Pro 2? We should be. Yes, we are. So we got 33 people watching over on the X platform right now, which is very, very cool. If you're on the X platform, so we've got comments from Facebook. Here's one from Facebook from our friend Simon. And then we got most of our comments are coming in from YouTube. Now let me go over to X and make sure they're coming in over there. This is always something I like to try. Let me see, where in the heck are we? Home X. Let me see. Here we go. And here we are. It's a little bit mixed up on what in order to get a comment on X. We got 33 people watching over there right now. We got a total of 64 people watching live. Well, when that clears up, we're going to do a little demonstration of this great feature in Logic Pro. We're going to do a great little demonstration there. Logic Pro 11. So Logic Pro 11 jumped from 10.8 right to 11. 10.8 was only after 6 months. I'm thinking that Final Cut Pro can do exactly the same thing. It's going to be at 10.8 shortly, within a week or 2 weeks. And I think it'll jump to Final Cut Pro 11 for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Let me show you one of the features that I really, really like. Here it is in Logic Pro 11. Here we go. So this is Logic Pro 11. This is a live stereo mix I recorded bands with just two SM58. So it was a stereo mix. It was an extremely, extremely echoey hall. This is what the mix sounds like. So that's what the mix sounds like. This is the real mix, recorded on two tracks. This is a stereo mix. This was just two SM58s and a big echoey hall. Okay? Now, in Logic Pro 11, one of the new features is this. Processing. Stem splitter. This is the one I'm going to demonstrate for you now. I've already split this 2-track stereo mix. I've already split it up, so we don't have to wait for it. It takes a couple minutes. Let's see what we have. So we have drums here. We have vocals here. We have bass guitar here and guitars here. Okay? This was taken out of this stereo mix. Let's turn the stereo mix off. I'm going to mute that and turn on one of these at a time. Turn on one of these. Let's listen to the drums first from that stereo mix. So that's the drums that was extracted from that very echoey stereo mix. Now we'll turn on the vocals.
Buried in their grave remains, previous corpses burning flames. If money can be born, does it ever really die? Or does it just fade away?
So that's the vocals. Now we're going to do the bass guitar. Thank you for adding to the view count. I appreciate it. Thumbs up. Fantastic. Here's the bass. And then we have just the guitars right over here. So there's the guitar. There's the guitar. Here's the bass. Here's the vocal.
Just cried tear into my beer, so I'll just drink it all away.
And here's the drums. And all of that, let me turn these off. All of that was got from this stereo mix. It's fantastic. It does a great, great job. Now, Resolve has this built in. Resolve has this built in to their edit page. They call it something else. This is a stem splitter. I was amazed. I just tried that. When I recorded that project, like I said, I had two SM57s recording in a very echoey, high ceiling, hard floor, hard wall room. I didn't expect it to be that good. It turned out to be really good. And then, of course, once you get to split the stems, you can record different balances. You can process the guitar separate, the vocal separate, the bass separate, the drum separate, and get a better mix than you can with just the stereo. Stem splitter may be the most impressive thing Apple's created in years. Yes, it is. But Resolve has it as well. Well, do they have the stem splitter? I think they do. They do. They call it something else, but they have it as well. So somehow AI is involved with that. That is so cool. It absolutely can. Apple can split instruments with AI, but they haven't been able to get its auto captions for text-based editing. 2 different Pro apps. One is Logic Pro. One is Final Cut Pro. One's a video editor. One's an audio music editor. That be bizzin'. Thanks, Richard. Absolutely. Really cool. It is really cool. It is absolutely cool. I was pleasantly surprised. It's not 100%, but it's in the 90% that it can split, pull bass out of there, pull drums out of there, pull vocals out of there, and pull guitars out of there, out of that mix, because the mix is not that good. Like I said, it's just 2 SM57 microphones. It's just 2 SM57 microphones. So it's amazing that it did that. Because I'm working with that video. The video turned out really well. I filmed it in 6K with my Lumix S5 Mark IIX and my iPhone 15 Pro Max, so I have good video, but the audio is echoey, and I'm going to split it. It took that's an hour and something audio file, and it took a couple minutes to do the splits. Apple owns the tech and software behind it. That's what I'm saying. I understand that, but Resolve has it as well. So it's not exclusive to Apple. I understand what you're saying, but the Logic team and the Final Cut Pro team are 2 different departments, 2 different teams. Voice isolation was the first experiment, in my opinion, for Apple. Yes, it's very cool. Most newsrooms do not use Final Cut Pro despite being perfect at editing news packages, videos. They use Premiere mostly, okay, because of Photoshop, Grass Valley, and other live news management software. Thank you very much for that information about newsrooms. When I was an Apple certified teacher for Final Cut Pro for years, and I taught down in Washington for future media conferences down in Washington sometimes. One of the weekends I taught down there, I taught Wolf Blitzer's entire editing crew. This was Final Cut Pro 7, though, not 10. I taught them on a weekend because they weren't available during the week because they were working. And they used to play back Final Cut Pro 7 live to air from the timeline. Something that I would not recommend anybody do, but they did that. So, fantastic. So, we're up to 78 people watching live. Thank you, everybody who's watching live. 80 right now. It's fantastic. You're doing a great job contributing to this broadcast, as you always do. 20 people, thumbs up. 20 people, fantastic. 80 people watching live. Fantastic. Let me just see. I'm just going to compare notes with Final Cut. We got 45 people on X. Let me see how many people we have on. Let me see how many people we have on Facebook. $21 people. Thumbs up. Thank you very much. There we go. So there was a comment. Close that up. There we go. There's a comment about, there's been comments about, is Final Cut Pro going to go subscription? Don't know about 10 years into the future. Have no idea. But I would say we're safe for the time being based on the fact that Logic didn't. Logic jumped from 10.8.1 to 11. 10.8.1 was only out for 6 months, and it jumped to 11. Was there subscription? No. There was not subscription. Was there, did it cost? Thank you very much for watching. You're adding to my view count. Fantastic. Another thumbs up, 21 thumbs up. Fantastic. Thank you for adding to my view count. We appreciate it. Wonder when we'll get the new camera app. I check all the time. I'm looking forward to that as well. And it'll be a version 1, so there might be some bugs and stuff. That's interesting. Where can I find your music? I have to put my videos out, and I have probably half a dozen albums, CDs, albums and stuff. I didn't put anything online yet, so I have to organize myself to get it on iTunes and all that. And I'm going to put out new videos. Some's going to be live, some's going to be studio recordings. I'm going to be working on that. So, what else do we have to talk about? I would like to see AI auto mix in Logic in the future. Auto mix meaning you let them do the entire mix? Is that what you mean? I like mixing myself. I like to have different mixes and be able to remember different things. Look at that. Microphone's in the camera. Got to get that out. But I guess the point is we'll see 10.8 this week, this coming week, the week after, certainly before WWDC. And the jump from 10.8 to 11, I think it's going to be just 6 months, the same way Logic Pro did. I think we're going to see at least a preview at the Creative Summit in November. Now, the Creative Summit hasn't been announced yet. I expect it to be announced in June, July. Details about it. Let's see what's happening over there on Twitter. Oh, what's going on Twitter these days? We are live. Yep. Apple, if not wrong, saying they have plans for 6 years for Final Cut Pro, and after that, what do you think about? Well, they just, at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, we had a Q&A with the Final Cut Pro team, and one of the things that they said was, well, they had a Q&A. I asked the first question. I said, I've seen this question asked. I said, you have millions of Final Cut Pro users. Millions, 5 million probably at this point. The first thing I said was, thank you for whoever turned on the scrolling timeline. Thank you very much. And then I said, everybody, not everybody, there's lots of people wondering if Final Cut is going to go the way of Aperture. Their answer was, categorically not. Categorically not. Not only do we have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next 6 months, we have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next 4, 5, 6 years. That's how far in advance they're planning on Final Cut Pro. I thought they were talking about Final Cut Pro 11. I think Final Cut Pro 11 is going to be happening quicker. My Road Reporter app stopped seeing the DJI transmitter after the new DJI update. I hope the Final Cut Pro app will allow connection to the mic as well for full HDR capabilities. I haven't tried. I thought the Road, I have to try after the new DJI update. I haven't updated my mics. Maybe I won't. The closest thing to an auto mix is W-Tonto mixer, which is essentially a Dugan-style audio mixer, which is used for mixing talking mics. It doesn't work with Final Cut Pro, just Resolve. Very, very interesting. I wonder if we will be able to see DJI Mic 2 in the new app, in the new camera app. I hope so. I hope they have external microphone support. If they do, I presume the DJI Mic Final Cut camera. Yeah, exactly. I hope they have external. I don't want to use the iPhone cameras. I mean, they have to. It's a pro level. It's a pro level, app for the camera. I'm sure they're going to have external audio support. I mean, Apple doesn't use their camera mics when they do all their fancy stuff, their presentations. Something else I have a curious thing about. Apple is on their own timeline. That's correct. Even though it's frustratingly slow compared to everybody else, stability is important, of course. Stability is important, of course. So we appreciate the Final Cut Pro team. The Final Cut Pro team watches this broadcast. They see your comments. Let's hear it. Give a round of applause to the Final Cut Pro team. Absolutely, Final Cut Pro team. Everybody appreciates you. So Apple is on their own timeline. Yes, they said that at the Creative Summit. It's disappointing that the DJI Mic 2 disables 32-bit when using Bluetooth to the phone. The phone can't record 32-bit. Okay? The phone does not record 32-bit, so transmitting to it doesn't work. 32-bit is in the DJI transmitter app. I mean, the hardware. It's in the hardware. That's where the 32-bit is being recorded, not in the phone. It's recorded here, right? If you're plugged in USB-C, I don't think you're recording 32-bit into the phone. I never thought about it, but I presumed it was 32-bit in the transmitter. It's hardware enabled in the transmitter. I don't think you're recording 32-bit into the phone with the video. I don't think so. So it's not a limitation of the DJI mic. Okay, I gotcha. Right, but 32-bit internally disabled. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. I like 32-bit a lot, so right, he was talking about it disables recording 32-bit in the transmitter. I thought he was talking about transmitting it over Bluetooth, but he was talking about, thank you very much for the thumbs up. He was talking about, it disables 32-bit recording in the transmitter, because I'm sure that's a hardware, it's being enabled in hardware. Unless you are using adapter. Right, exactly. Yes, receiver. Right, so if you're using the receiver, it's plugged in via USB-C. So in that case, the DJI Mic 2 can record 32-bit flow. Yes, the receiver is plugged in, but the DJI transmitter themselves can only communicate with the phone. If you don't have the receiver, it can only communicate via Bluetooth, which is a nice feature to have. 72 people watching live. Thank you very much for tuning in, adding to the viewer count. Absolutely. Yes, they make them in white too. You can buy a white one solo if you're doing weddings, I presume, or you're doing people with white shirts on a lot. Absolutely. 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 Let's just check on a few things here. I got the DJI mic. After hearing recommendations, it works great. Thanks, Richard. So I would recommend I like the DJI mic system better than the Rode mic system. It's just a nicer case. This hardware case, I show this all the time. everything lights up. You have the lights on the front showing this charge state. Everything lights up inside. Everything is nice and compact. You have this plugs it directly into the phone. You don't have any cables with the Rode system. You have cables. With this one, you just go, and it's plugged in, and then the audio is getting into the phone. It's much better than have to worry about plugging a cable in. Just plug this right in, snap it in, snap it out. This is with a case. I have a case on it. It still works fine. So they thought of a lot of things that a lot of people, a lot of these different mic companies copied this system from DJI. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you for adding to our viewer count. It is appreciated. It is appreciated. The longer you watch, the better it is. Tell me what your ads are. I think you get 5-second ads. It's appreciated. The DJI adapter delivers 24-bit audio. The internal recorder to the microphone is a 32-bit flat. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. I bought the DJI Mic 2 based on your recommendations and are very happy. I'm using the Bluetooth as it enables me to record directly onto an SSD without using USB dongle for more than one port. Yeah, that's one of the restrictions. That's one of the restrictions of using an iPhone or an iPad as you're dealing with iOS. Absolutely. I'm just checking over here on Twitter. Absolutely. See if there's anything going on. I don't think there is. I checked the audio. I checked the App Store Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't check it on the weekends, of course. Not much happening over there. Final Cut Pro. Let's check over there on Facebook. Just checking. Very good, very good. Yeah, so it's been very, very rainy here on the good old East Coast of the United States. Very, very rainy. Anything else you want to talk about? I gave you the demo for Logic Pro. I think there's going to be more. I think there's going to be more to Final Cut Pro 10.8. Will we get it this week? They're not going to do Memorial Day week, I don't think. I thought they're not going to do a WWDC. I think it's going to be out before then. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you very much. I did get DJI mic, but I admit the Rode Interviewer microphone looks cool. Do DJI have anything similar to that? The only thing I would do is I use a Sennheiser MKE 600 microphone for an interview mic. It's a shotgun microphone, so I can keep it away out of people's faces, and I connect that into my DJI mic. So that's what I use. Let me show you. Real quick, where am I? Here, let me just turn this off a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Let me just get this out. This is my bag that I had when I went to NAB. So there's a couple of things. Number one, this is what I use when I interview somebody and want to be on camera. I use my Sennheiser MKE 600, and I use, well, there's a couple of things going on here. Let me just show you this, because people have been asking about this. So DJI does not have a separate mic like Rode does, but what you can do is XLR to this, what is this? Whatever this connector is, little connector. This goes into the DJI transmitter, snaps in place, and then I just hook this to a rubber band on the mic. Like so. Like this, and then I have a wireless microphone connected back to my iPhone or whatever I'm recording it. DJI mic plugged into that. This is what I use. That's one of the ways you can do it, but you can also do this. Let me show you this way. Now this is a Rode product. But you just get one of these, they have them on Amazon, and you just plug the microphone in there. And then you got a handheld. As a matter of fact, I got the windscreen down here. So instead of, you can also, so this is the transmitter, and you just put a windscreen on it, and now you have a handheld microphone. This is one of two ways that I would do it. This is what I do, and I have to cross out Rode because it's not Rode. They, of course, branded it that way. So DJI Mic 2 transmitters, clips right in there, put it on. There's a couple of these on Amazon, different brands. A couple of these different brands on Amazon. So that's what I do. That is what I do. Let's catch up on some of these comments. Movo makes a mic handle for the DJI Mic 2. There's a couple of them now. I got that years and years ago when I had the Rode Wireless Go 1 and 2. Or for any clip mic, basically, that's correct. I like your setup. The Rode Interviewer app looks more like broadcast microphone, but your setup gets the job done. The Rode Interviewer app, the Rode Interviewer mic is not as good as the Sennheiser MKE 600. This is an excellent, excellent microphone. High quality microphone. So this has excellent quality. The good thing is I don't have to keep it up close to somebody's mouth. Because it's a shotgun, I can keep it away, and I can also go back and forth. If I'm interviewing somebody, go back and forth with it, just by doing this, not stick it up in their mouth. So I really, really like this. I would not give up my Sennheiser for anybody, but I like it a lot. Yeah, but either way, the Rode mic looks pretty cool. It's a nice little feature they have. I just prefer the DJI mic system better. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. Yeah, Rode's a wireless mic. So is this plugged into the DJI mic. It's wireless. I use it all the time. Plugged into that. I know the Rode mic itself is, but that's the Sennheiser is a better sounding microphone than the Rode, I'm sure. Sennheiser microphone is really, really good. Nothing wrong with the Rode. The Rode looks cool, but I like my DJI mic system better. So I'm going to stick with DJI mic system. Would I go to the Rode? Yeah, sure. In the future, if they have something that's less clunky than the version they have now, I'm not talking about the wireless mic, that's different. But the wireless mic, how does that connect to the phone? I presume you need a Rode receiver connected to the phone for the used wireless mic, I presume. I don't know. Does it connect via Bluetooth to a phone? Because most of my recording is on the phone. Most of my recording is on the phone. We got 77 people watching live. Fantastic. Thank you to each and every one of you. So I'm normally, what am I in right now? I think I'm broadcasting in Sonoma. Yeah, I'm in Sonoma. But most of my, I don't run my weekly stuff that I do, editing and all in Sonoma. I only come back to here because I have these effects. I have this one. I have this one. I have this one for any Final Cut weenies that come around. Any Final Cut weenies that show up, we'll give them one of these. That's all they deserve. I might go back and watch how you connected your Sennheiser to the DJI, as I'm having a great biodynamic shotgun, which I used with my Canon XL1 before it broke. Anything about Final Cut Pro update? Is taking too long to be released? Yeah. Well, they only announced it a week ago, 10 days ago, I guess, 10 days ago. Just arrived. Thumbs up to you. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. It's appreciated. Very, very cool. Yeah, we all, when they announced an update to Final Cut Pro, they've announced 10.8. They showed us some of the features. I'm sure there's more than what they announced. And then we want it. We want it. When's it going to be out? When's it going to be out? When's it going to be out? Of course, that's what we're very impatient with that way. So I would say Tuesday or Thursday. That's when I would, if you're going to check the 23 thumbs up, very, very cool. If you're going to go check 24 thumbs up, fantastic. If you're going to check the App Store, check it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are the most likely days to get 10.8. 10.8 is a stepping stone to 11. Since they did that with Logic, I'm just say this, I think they're showing us the roadmap for Final Cut Pro 10. Is that guaranteed? No, it's not guaranteed. It's just what I think is going to happen. I think they've showed us the roadmap. Number one is we're going to go from 10.8 to 11. Number two is there's not going to be a subscription. Not going to be a subscription, and it's going to be free to existing updates, existing users. I was expecting 10.8 to be released together with the new iPads. Well, 10.8 doesn't run on the iPads. 10.8 does not run on the iPads. I hope so. 11 will be major new stuff for us. I'm presuming that we're going to see text-based editing in Final Cut Pro 11. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. Let's give you some balloons for whatever you're celebrating. So that's what I expect. That's what I expect. 82 people watching live right now. Fantastic. Fantastic. $84 people watching live. I know, same with Final Cut 2 for iPads and 10.8 for the Mac computers. Yeah, so juice, no, that's ice. 0 calorie. This is, the heck, this is pink grapefruit. I do like juice, though, as well. So I'm already preparing. There's certain things. When I travel, I hone everything that I do, especially the way I film. There's things that I hone, and I've honed my filming setup since NAB. Since NAB. I'm doing it differently. There's things that I'm doing differently when I'm at the Creative Summit in November. I presume it's going to be November. Nobody's made any announcements, so don't bother FMC yet. They have not made any announcements, but I hone things. I'm also honing some other things for air travel the next time that I air travel, which is probably going to be for the Creative Summit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Another thumbs up. Fantastic. You people are the best. Lots of viewers. 83 viewers right now. Live viewers. Let's just check on where they're coming from. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of people on X platform. If you're on the X platform, go ahead and send me a message. I want to see if they're coming through like they're supposed to. Here in the south of Brazil, we have apple juice, all natural, but now we're in the middle of a terrible events with floods. Terrible events with floods. Good morning from Georgia. Our friend Brett FX down there from Georgia. Brett, you want to send me the link for your new plugin you have. So Brett has Brett has ported over the Maps plugin from iTunes, from iMovie to Final Cut Pro. He's ported that over, so it's a plugin. He has it on the App Store, and he has it available from his website, but I don't have the links handy. There we go. Our comment, Jim Eds from Yes. X is becoming more and more popular for live streams. It really is. It's not as, it's a little bit, finding the broadcast and things is sometimes a little clunky. Simon says, I'm trying to come at the summit. He's in a wheelchair, but he's trying to come here. Brett, I don't know if you can post a link. Try it, and I'll see if I can copy and paste it for you. You know what? Let me go back to, I think you sent it to me in a message. Let me go back and see if I can pick it up. There. Here we go. Let me go back and try to. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Got it. Got it. It's opening up. It's opening up. It's not opening up. What the heck? Let me edit this. Let me edit this URL. It's got a bunch of junk in it. Why do they put so much junk in this? Let me see if I can pull this up. Here we go. Come on now. Well, let me just do this. How about just go Brett FX? FX.com. Yeah, the URLs, all this junk goes in with them. All these things for tracking and all that. But you sent me a iTunes link, I thought, too. Let me see if I can pull that up. And Facebook, see, every time I do that, it's like, come on. Let me see if I can find your link to the iTunes store. I'm going through our messages. Hold on a second. Just 1 second. Did it open up anywhere? For some reason, internet is not working properly for me. Here it is. Here we go. Ah, got it. We got it. Here we go. From the App Store, directly from iMovie to Final Cut Pro. This is now available thanks to our friend over there at BreadFX. So this is the App Store. Let me put that link in. I think I can put that in. Where is it? It's weird, but your site's not opening up for me for some reason. So that's the App Store version. That is the App Store version. Just go over there. I guess you can do a search for BreadFX. So cool. Nice job, Brett. Absolutely. Yes, Messenger. Everybody wants to track you, so they put all this gobbledygook, and I always cut it out before, when I save a URL, for example, I always cut it out. I don't know why you might be having problems. That's no big deal. No big deal. Let me see what we've got over here. Here we go. Let's go back over here. So yeah, this is available in the App Store. Just search for BreadFX iMaps. I guess that's what it is. And you have the same ones that you had in iMovie. He took the time to port it over. So there you have it. If you missed my demonstration of Logic Pro, you can watch this stream afterwards. And I did the stem splitter. I had a stereo mix of a live band that just used two SM57 microphones in a very echoey hall, and it did a really, really good job pulling those stems out of that mix. It's artificial intelligence, incredible job. They're about 90, I'd say in the 90 percentile usable, but I can I can remix, I can redo the bass, I can redo drums, etc., etc. Props to Chris Hawking of Command Post. He helped figure out the last bit of code, and the App Store installer, amazingly gracious of him to help me out. It is. Chris is a good guy. We've had him on the show many times. Many times. Let me just check over here. Just checking. Checking. Yep. We got people watching on all three platforms. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, Final Cut Pro 11, probably within 6 months at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. At least I would say there's going to be a preview at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. at least there's going to be a preview. And then if it comes out later, that's fine, but we'll at least see a preview, if not get the actual release. That's just my prediction. It's not cast in stone. Lots of things can happen between now and the Creative Summit to affect that, but that's what I think right now. I hope the Creative Summit, if it does happen, is going to be back at the Juniper. That was like the perfect venue, or another venue like it. I had a good time last time. I met some good people, just like I did at NAB this year. Absolutely. All righty. You really can't see the rain, but it is raining. It certainly is raining out there. Everything's nice and green for the spring. The garden sure appreciates it. We got 91 people watching. 91 people watching. Let me just do this right now. And pull it up over here. Pull this up. Are we going to hit 100 today? We just might. We just might. Let me pull this up. Here we go. Night. 92 people watching. 23 thumbs up. All righty. Rich, it's a great time to be a creator. It absolutely is. When I first started, I used to edit deck to deck, SVHS decks. We had 3 decks. Playback. We had 2 playback decks and then a record deck. And that used to be connected via a toaster. They called it a toaster. I don't know how it connected to the decks and stuff. And we had a guy in the TV station I used to work at. I worked at a local community-based television station. And he always had to keep things running because things would get out of sync and whatever. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. And would get out of sync, and I knew nothing about anything in those days. Are we going to hit 100 live viewers? We might. We're at 92 right now. We might get to be 100 today. All right. So, Final Cut Pro 10.8 this week, next week, probably on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And then we have possibly Final Cut Pro 11 coming out around the Creative Summit. Red phone, I've only had a black phone. I've always had a black phone. The red phone is special. This black phone is somebody calls in from your favorite fruit company every once in a while. And we have, yeah. Hope the new version won't be subscription. Base it on what happened with Logic Pro. Went from 10.8.1 to Logic Pro 11. No subscription. Free update to current users. There's no reason why Final Cut wouldn't do exactly the same. They're both pro apps. They both have to adhere to the same, whether it's Apple internal regulations or anything else. I swear it was red. Mandela effect in action. It was not red. It's always been this. This is a real phone, by the way. this thing actually works. You can actually plug it in, and you can get a dial tone, and you can actually dial with it. So, no, it's always been black. Always been black. Well, I don't expect, listen, if 10.8 comes out this week, I will come back with a live stream in the afternoon, Tuesday or Thursday, probably. It could come out Monday, could come out Wednesday, but it's unusual. I don't think there's been any Final Cut Pro updates on a Wednesday or Friday. They've been mostly on Thursdays, secondarily on Tuesdays, sometimes on a Monday. I don't know why, what makes it different, but Thursdays are twice, thank you very much for the thumbs up, Thursdays are twice as often to get a Final Cut Pro update than any other time. So, let me go over here real quick in case anybody missed this. I'll go through this one more time. So this is the Final Cut. This is the Logic Pro. This is the audio file that I recorded. Very echoey room, just 2 SM57 microphones, big hall, high ceilings, hard floors, hard walls. Then you right-click on this and you choose Processing Stem Splitter. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. And you get the stems. It's split it up into drums, vocals, bass, guitars. So let's hear the drums. Oops. Let's hear the vocals.
Friendly advice I already learned today. Secret now is out. Good.
Bass. And guitars. And that all came from this.
So I'll just drink it all away.
It did an incredible job. Now I'm on, this is Logic Pro 11. I've seen some people report some bugs, so there might be 11.1 coming out. Apple can do subscriptions for collaboration between editors where you subscribe to the amount of storage you need when collaborating, Blackmagic Cloud. Yeah, but that's not, that's a service in the cloud, not part of Final Cut Pro. I don't care about that. I don't know if Apple's going to get involved in that. Our friend Ben says, good morning. How you doing, Ben? Ben gave me some information about Logic Pro 11 earlier in the week. I've seen some different reports about Logic Pro 11. I think that so far from what I'm doing, it's working fine, but that doesn't mean third-party plugins and things are working fine. That's just my experiment with it so far. Forces you to replace your old smart drummer with their new ones. Yeah, I did see that. And he says, super not impressed with the smart bass or keyboard they added. They took easy smart drummer and made it even more simple, which I'm not thrilled with. Well, we'll have to see. We'll see what they develop. I have easy keyboards, easy bass, easy drummer, Superior Drummer 3. So I've been using those for years. Ben says, but he does love Logic and all the new MIDI and patching stuff they've added. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else do we have? Oh, I want to show you this. People say, let me go over here. People say this is the Logic Pro update. Now, once again, I'm playing it fast because it's not, you're not supposed to read it, just show you how expansive the update was. But let me do this. This is incredible. This is LumaFusion on an iPhone. People say I can't edit on an iPhone. Yes, you can. I do it. It's incredible. This is LumaFusion on an iPhone. One of the things I really like is this overview timeline up there. Notice there's an overview timeline. You can jump to anywhere in the main timeline. You can copy and paste, move clips around. I really, really wish Final Cut Pro would get one of those. They had one on the MacBook Pro, the 2016 MacBook Pro, but it's gone. It used to be in the place of the function keys. So that's something you can't do with Final Cut. You cannot update, you cannot edit on an iPhone, but you can with LumaFusion. Ben says, I use Smart Drummer as it is close as works, then convert all the MIDI regions and replace with Superior Drummer. There you go. I hope something as Frame.io right into Final Cut. We'll have to see. LumaFusion on iPhone, I have to admit, is really super well done. I'd say they out-appled Apple. Yeah, they did. Well, they were, if you remember, we got 24 thumbs up. Thank you very much. They did, Apple gave them awards 2 years in a row for LumaFusion on the iPad. I don't remember if they included the iPhone version, but that's something you can't do with Final Cut. It's not on an iPhone. I don't expect it to be. I don't expect it to be. I do not expect it to be. Give a thumbs up to everybody watching. We got 93 people watching live right now. Brett FX, our friend Brett, says yes, it was in the touch bar, exactly. Did you use the touch bar? I had a 2016 MacBook Pro. I don't think I ever used the touch bar except for maybe to try it out a little bit. Maybe. Richard, can you work with ProRes log files and LumaFusion on your phone? I have the app, but I haven't used it on my iPhone Pro Max. Only my iPad and MacBook Air. Yes, you can indeed use ProRes log files and LumaFusion on the iPhone. Anything the iPhone version of the new LumaFusion does, everything on the iPad can be done on the iPhone. Sometimes menu items are in a little different places and stuff, because vertical versus horizontal. I use it vertical a lot because the viewer is larger. When you turn it horizontal, the viewer is smaller. So I use it vertical a lot just for basic, for basic editing. But yes, you can use Apple ProRes log on LumaFusion. Touch bar was pointless. It was something something they tried. People wanted the function keys back, so they brought it back. Thank you very much for a thumbs up. It's appreciated. Here in Taiwan, I've seen people editing videos in LumaFusion on the MRT. I presume the MRT is like the underground, the tube. I presume that, yes. 2019 MacBook Pro for a church I work at part-time has the touch ribbon thingy. I'd never used it. I didn't notice it half the time. It's at an angle that it's hard for me to actually see in our setup. Absolutely. But I like the fact, yes, on iPhones. Yes, so they were editing on their iPhones on the tube or the subway system. I used to take my MacBook Pro back in the day when I worked in D.C. and the Metro, they have the Metro down there, that I used to take into Washington because you don't have to worry about parking and all that nonsense. And subway train, yes. Subway train. Subway train, yes. So I used to take the subway down when I worked at the National Archives, and it virtually dropped me off right across the street from the National Archives. There's a subway stop called Navy Memorial Archives, something like that. And I virtually got out of the subway, went up the subway stairs, walked across Pennsylvania Avenue, and I was at work at the National Archives. Interesting note about that subway station. That's the subway station that Angelina Jolie rode down on one of her movies. She actually slid down the escalator stairs of that subway station. She was filming outside. I forget what movie it was. They were filming outside one day, and they had signs up, if you don't want to be in the, filmed, don't come in this area. But she actually slid down the escalator handrail at that subway station. Subway train, yes. On iPhones, absolutely. iPhones, LumaFusion. I've used it when I go to NAB and I don't film on the iPhone, want to edit quickly. I don't want to export it to the MacBook Pro, don't want to export it to an iPad. Shoot on the iPhone, edit on the iPhone, and then upload it. Very, very effective. LumaFusion. Listen, they had it on sale for 4 or 5 days for $19. A couple times a year it comes up for $19. Normally it's 20. They stopped the sale the day before the iPad event. Of course, the iPad event, what did they do? They introduced Final Cut iPad 2. So maybe that's why they stopped it the day before. I don't know. $19 instead of $4.99 a month for the rest of your life. It's a great deal. I'm going to quit out of Logic Pro. Just quit out of Logic Pro. Yes, I want to save that. If I shoot with Blackmagic Design Camera on my phone, but want to edit LumaFusion on an iPad, how do I transfer footage from phone to iPad? Well, you can AirDrop it or plug an SSD drive in, transfer it to the SSD drive, and then plug it in if you have an iPad with USB-C or Lightning, whatever way you're using it. If you have Lightning on both devices, I don't know how the drives plug in. I don't know how that works. I just have USB-C. As a matter of fact, Apple's going to get my money this year. I'm going to buy the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Absolutely, I'll be buying that in September. Probably going to be buying the iPad Pro, 13-inch, another $2,000. And maybe, if I get those two, though, I'll probably stick with, I might get a MacBook Pro, M4 MacBook Pro, when that comes out, probably October, November. When will the new update come down? No one knows. All speculation at this time. We all speculate all the time about stuff. I've seen people say that Apple said that FCP 10.8 is coming out later this spring. They did not say that. They did not say that. Final Cut iPad 2, Final Cut camera, it said later this spring. Those two said later this spring. Final Cut 10.8 did not say later this spring. It just said it'll be free to existing users. They did not say later this spring. Logic Pro for the Mac and Logic for the iPad 2, they announced a date, which was last Monday, that both of those came out. They did not say that Final Cut 10.8, they did not say when it's coming out. They didn't say anything at all. They just said it's the strangest thing. All they said was that it's coming out. They said it's going to be free for existing users. That's all they said. Let's go here and look at it. Let me see what's the latest. Final Cut's available today. That's great. Here we go. So here you go. This is on May the 7th. I've seen people say that they said 10.8 was coming out later this spring. They did not say that. Incorrect. iPad version of Final Cut 2, yes. Camera app, yes. Not for Final Cut Pro 10.8. I don't know what that means. It just doesn't say it. Let's go down here where it talks about that stuff. All it says is Final Cut Pro for 10.8 will be available as a free update for existing users. It doesn't say later this spring. It does not give you any date when Final Cut Pro for Mac 10.8 will be available. It just says will be available as a free update. That's all it says. Now this one says Final Cut Camera will be available for a free update later this spring. Final Cut Pro 2 will be available later this spring. But Final Cut Pro for iPad does not say later this spring. It just says will be available as a free update. Now, what does that mean? Might just mean the web person just put in text like that. That could be all it means. I don't know. But it does not give you a date for Final Cut Pro 10.8. Doesn't say later this spring, doesn't say anything. It just says it's going to be available as a free update. I want a laptop that outperforms my iMac Pro by a very significant amount. Then I'll upgrade to a MacBook Pro and sell off everything else. I agree. That's why I'm on a M1 Max MacBook Pro. I didn't get the M2 or the M3. Do you think that using Final Cut Camera you must have Final Cut Pro 2 because I don't have an iPad yet? No, Final Cut Camera works on, let's go back there. What does it say? Final Cut Camera, here's what it says. Works on, Final Cut Camera is available on iPhone XS and later, running Mac OS 17.4 or later. iPad models running iPad OS 17.4 or later. So no, it runs on older iPhones as well. You don't need Final Cut 2 to run iPhone camera. It runs on the camera. You don't need Final Cut. Ben says he guesses he means they have too many bugs to fix before releasing. It could just be the web designer person that just worded it differently. It could just be something as simple as that. But I've seen people say that they said Final Cut Pro 10.8 was going to come out later this spring. No, they did not. They didn't say anything about that for Final Cut Pro 10.8. They just said it's going to be available as a free update. That's all they said. So No subscriptions. Once 10.8 comes out, we start a 6-month countdown to Final Cut Pro 11. To be honest with you, I am really surprised that Logic Pro jumped from 8 to 11 that quickly. And I'd be pleasantly surprised if Final Cut Pro did the same thing. One of my cats, there's a birdie out there. "95 people watching live. That's fantastic." There you go. All right, Final Cut TV and Coffee. We did another one. And unless 10.8 comes out, if 10.8 comes out, I'll jump back on here live. Don't forget to subscribe over there. That's a good place to go. YouTube.com/RichardTaylorTV. Subscribe. I'm sure all of you are already there watching. Most of you are watching from over there now, but tell your friends. Come on over here and join us on Saturday mornings. 65. I've done 65 of these. Our friend Jim says over there on X, "I shoot with iPhone 15 Pro on Condor Blue CF Express Type B reader and new OWC card right off the card. It has external NVMe speeds." Yeah, I'm jealous of that. That Condor Blue connection and all that stuff is really, really cool. It's a little bit expensive for me. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. It's a little bit expensive, but it looks really, really cool. So I have a setup where I edit. First off, I have a small rig iPhone 15 Pro Max cage with the quick release handles and the Bluetooth button that's removable. It's really, really cool when I want to do that. But I mostly film 90% of the time with my iPhone. If I just don't grab it like this, usually I'll grab it like this and film. And it doesn't have pro audio, obviously. But if I'm just grabbing something quick to film it quickly, this is what I'll do. Just hold it like this. But normally I use my Insta360 Flow gimbal. That's what I use. And I have a system set up where I can shoot to SSDs from there. But I have 1 terabyte in my phone. So a lot of times I'll just film on my phone and pull it off when I feel like it. Yeah, we're getting to be summer. Absolutely going to be summer. Finally, what's the temperature right now? 61 degrees here on the good old east coast of the USA. Outside, you can see it's raining. I have some chores to do outside today. And I don't know. Today, it's a one of those days. When the weather's rainy, I don't like going outside, but I have to later today. I have some chores to accomplish today. Some chores to accomplish. We'll leave it at that. Ben says he'd kill for 61 degrees right now. You're not that far. You're on the east. Louisiana, I guess it's not on the east coast, but you're not on the west coast. You're not in. It's not too bad. But we're lots of miles apart. So if 10.8 is released this week, I'll come back and do another live stream because we'll have updated notes, maybe some more features and stuff. If it's released on Tuesday or Thursday, I'll be back. We'll do another live stream. Let everybody look. These live streams are for you to come on and get your comments read. We get lots of people. Thank you for watching. And the Final Cut Pro team watches this. The Final Cut Pro team watches these live streams, so they see your comments. 75 degrees in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 82 at 11 a.m. We are called the Gulf Coast, by the way. There you go. So you're way down south on the Mexico Gulf, Texas Gulf, Gulf Coast. Yeah. Ben always tells me what kind of commercial he gets. He says, bearskin tactical jacket commercial. Yay. So, yeah. Let's see what else we have here. One of my guys, pull this up here. This is my beautiful cat, Luther. Beautiful cat, Luther. It's one of our cats that we have. Well, they're all rescues. We rescued Luther, great cat. He was across the street living in the storm drains. He was across the street living in the storm drains at a parking lot across the street. We saw him coming in and out of the grate. Beautiful cat. Love him dearly. We love all of our pets. These are all rescues. So we got him. This is a long time ago, 10, 15 years ago. He was 15 years old. And we brought him in because I didn't want him crossing the street, which he was doing, and because there's too much traffic. I didn't want to have, him to have an accident, so we brought him inside. Mr. Luther, beautiful Russian gray. Why are Apple YouTube commercials not playing constantly on your channel? Good question. My favorite breed, rescue. My GSD purebred is rescue. Most of my past GSDs have been shelter rescue dogs, and all purebreds I get for dirt cheap. Grassi, Richard, lots of love to you, and see you again soon. Absolutely. We're going to get off here now. And like I said, thank you. Two people I want to thank. All the viewers. The view count is way up. We're getting way up here in the view counts on these times. Lovely kitty, Mr. Luther, our dear Mr. Luther. We're getting our view counts up around here. Come back if you want the Final Cut Pro Team. Where does the Final Cut Pro Team watch? Right here. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thank you very much. Final Cut Pro Team, we all love you. We'd like to see more updates faster, but as we get them, we appreciate them. See if you can get 10.8 out for us on Tuesday. Absolutely. So we're going to see let me see what's going on here. Absolutely. Hello? Yes. Yes, this is Richard. We're on live. Yes. Oh, I know who this is. I won't tell anybody. Don't worry. So everybody wondering when 10.8 is going to come out. That's the question. I've got it 4, 5, 6 times today. When is 10.8 going to come out? Is it going to be next week? I won't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody who you are. I won't tell them anything that you tell me on this live stream. We are live. I won't say who you are. Don't worry. But everybody wants to know when 10.8 is coming out. Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be the week after? Well, can I say anything at all? You don't want me to say anything. Okay, I won't say anything. All right, but 10.8 is coming out directly. I can say that much. It's coming out directly. Fantastic. I won't say who you are. Don't worry. I won't say who it is. Feel free to call anytime. Feel free to call anytime. All right, that's good to know. Okay, Tim, I'll talk to you later. Bye. It's coming out directly. That's what I can tell you. See you soon talking about the Final Cut Pro launch. Thanks for the LumaFusion tip. Absolutely. Wherever it is, I'm not here. Yes. You're talking with Mr. Tim. I can't comment on that. Apple secrets. Yes. Typical. On Monday. Come on, guys. Absolutely. 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 Great respect for your rescue work, Richard. That's good. You rock. We've settled in on cats. There's a lot of homeless cats, and we've rescued a dozen or more cats over the years. As they age, that number's coming down, which is, it's a hard thing to lose a pet. I'm sure anybody that has a pet knows that. As they age, that number comes down and down and down. We have a big property. We have a 2,700 square foot house. We have 1.5 acres of land. We take care of any animals that show up here. We have multiple resources for that. The old phone, absolutely. I love cats. I do too. I love all animals. Cats are what just worked out the best for us. When we used to, my partner and I, Jane, we both had full-time jobs and wouldn't be home during the day for 10, 12 hours at a time. The cats take care of themselves. They just, we don't have to worry about taking them out for whatever. They stay inside. They're safe. We take care of their vet bills and all that stuff. Fantastic. We're up to 97. Let's see if we can get to 100 before we leave here. Up to 97 live viewers, which is fantastic. Let's see if we can get to 100. Thumbs up. Balloons for happy celebration to everybody that's watching. Let's see if we can get to 100 viewers. We might get to 100. We're right below 100 right now. 25 thumbs up. Fantastic. Applause to the Final Cut Pro team. They watch this every week. There we are. 98. 2 more live viewers and we'll hit 100. Fantastic. Another thumbs up there. Thank you very much. So I'm curious, Jim, you're on X and what do you do over there video-wise? There we go. What do you do in video-wise? We got to 100. Fantastic. Fantastic. What do you do for a living as far as video editing goes? I'm just curious. Let's go over here. Here's Mr. Luther, our dear, dear Mr. Luther. Love these cats. Here's our 100. 100 views, 26 thumbs up. Film hurricanes and typhoons. That's amazing. I never met anybody that did that. Now, I'm sure you have specialized cameras, specialized video equipment. Do you have cameras mounted to a vehicle of some sort? Is that what you do? And what is your area that you film those? edit stories for YouTube channel. Fantastic. I never met you. I have to talk to you more about that. Do you edit those in Final Cut Pro? It's a funny comment. To me, you're the Iggy Pop of video editing. Richard, by the way, My Dalmatian says hi. I met Iggy Pop long time ago. Back when we were both much younger. Let me just show you a picture that I took of Iggy. You're going to get it. Since you brought up Iggy, of all the things to bring up, Iggy. So there's our 100 viewers. We stabbed those down. This is a picture that I took of Iggy when he was on tour with Iggy and the Stooges on their Funhouse tour. Now, I was right up front. This is in Virginia. And this was the Funhouse tour, which was a long time ago. Both of us were teenagers at the time. And this is a picture I took of Igster. It's actually ended up in a book about Iggy. This was Arlington, Virginia. That's where that was, Arlington, Virginia. This is, I think he was doing Now I Want to Be Your Dog. I think that's what the song he was doing. Oh, okay. You do Bermuda to Hong Kong. Fantastic. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Yes, Final Cut Pro. Yes, Final Cut Pro. So, Jim, send me a message on Twitter, and we'll get you on the show if you want to come on and talk about how you film hurricanes and tornadoes using Final Cut Pro. Contact me on Twitter, because I know you're on Twitter, X, and we'll see if we can get you on the show. That'd be. I'm fascinated with that, how they do that. I like to see the specialized equipment vehicles, how you get around and stuff. Oh my God, high school. Wow, I got to see them play a couple of times. Yeah, that was their Funhouse tour. They played in D.C. multiple times. I saw them at the Wheaton Youth Center. First, I didn't have my camera, and the next night they were playing in Arlington, Virginia. And I took my camera to Arlington, Virginia. I'm glad I did, because I got some really good pictures. They ended up in a Iggy book, a very nice book. Jim says, okay, absolutely. We'll get you on the show. We'll do an interview. I'm fascinated with people that go film hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff. That would be great. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I got some work to do. We've been on for 2 hours and 13 minutes. So if Final Cut Pro comes out this week, we got a phone call. Or next week. This week. Maybe next week. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So Ben says, this is an interesting question, getting off the subject. You don't strike me as Iggy Pop fan, Richard, but then who knew Ozzy Osbourne would live forever? So I'm a big Iggy and the Stooges fan. Before that, here's my, when I was in high school, I loved garage rock. Okay, so I got introduced to the MC5 in the late 60s, and the New York Dolls in 1972, and Iggy and the Stooges right after that. So I'm a big fan of garage, early stages of punk. I also like the Ramones from CBGBs and stuff. How did we get off on this subject? So, because somebody said that. How did we get off on that? Yes, MC5, yes, all those bands were amazing. So, wait a minute, we're not done yet. So MC5, yes, all those bands were amazing. It was great stuff. They were great stuff. And New York Dolls, amazing. Hold on, look at this. Look at this. This was my Iggy picture right? Iggy, that I took Iggy and his Stooges live in Arlington, Virginia. But look at this. That's me and Sylvain from the New York Dolls. We were friends. I met him when he was in Baltimore. That's me with long hair and Sylvain from the New York Dolls. I used to go visit him. We became friends, and I used to go visit him. He had a place on St. Mark's Place in New York, and I visited him multiple times. He would invite me up. The New York Dolls would play at Max's Kansas City on July 4th weekend. So I used to go up to see him on July 4th weekend, and I'd go to Max's Kansas City and got backstage and et cetera, et cetera. And I knew the Dolls, but Syl and I were friends. We used to communicate with each other. Have you ever met Tom Petty or Neil Young? No, I have not. My hair was much longer. 70s, absolutely. I played many times at CBGB's back in the day. I played there once. My band played there I played once. And Sylvain brought Tom Verlaine from television down to see my band. So that was really cool meeting Tom Verlaine at CBGB's. Very, very cool. But anyway, Final Cut Pro, this is what the phone call said. I can't tell you what it said. Is Final Cut Pro 10.8 coming out this week? Next week? Maybe. Maybe next week. The week after. Whatever. It's coming out shortly. 10.8 will be coming out shortly. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Thanks for the Final Cut Pro team for tuning in. Ben says 10.8 is coming out in July. I don't think so. I think they got to get it up before WWDC. They have the Boya mic, wireless lavalier microphone for iPhone, Android, smartphone now. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to look it up after the fact. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. I've got to get some other work done this afternoon outside in the rain. Ben says February 2026. The weirdest thing was they jumped from Logic Pro 10.8.1 to Logic Pro 11. It had only been out for 6 months. And they jumped from, so in 1 year, they jumped from 10.7, Logic Pro 10.7 to 10.8.1 to 11 in 1 year's time. So I expect the same pattern to happen with Final Cut Pro. I expect 10.8 to come out this week or next week. And then 6 months later, we're going to see Final Cut Pro 11, whatever the heck that is. Bye, and thank you, Richard. Thank you all for showing up. You are the best, absolutely the best audience of any Final Cut Pro live stream. We have over 100 viewers watching. Ben says, hope everyone has a good weekend. I intend to have the rest of my weekend good. I'm going to get another cup of coffee, get off here, get another cup of coffee. We had over 100 viewers again today, live viewers. This is fantastic. I will be back if 10.8 is announced, Final Cut Pro 10.8. If not, we'll see every one of you next Saturday, Final Cut TV and Coffee. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to each and every one of you.